So this week our story is From Places We Go. The genre of our story this week is informational text, which means it's just giving us information about different things. So we're going to listen to our story today, and I'm going to stop and have some questions and stuff for you. But we're going to learn about different places in our community. Okay, and the community of Hope is kind of small. So some of these places we might not see in Hope, but raise your hand, don't use your voice. Raise your hand if you've been to like Columbus or Shelbyville.
Columbus.
Those bigger towns. Those places might have some of these places that Hope does not have. Okay? So we're going to hit play. We're going to listen to our story, and I'm going to stop and ask some questions while we read. If you are at home, we are starting on page 99 in your purple reading book. From Places We Go, a kid's guide to community building. So we're going to get started here. Here we go. Page 100.
What is a community? Hooray for the community! A community is a place where people live, work, and play. It is made up of neighborhoods. There, you will find homes and people. Who lives in one of those neighborhoods? You! That makes you part of a community. People in a community help each other and work together. They share roads, parks, and buildings. Did you know? 3 kinds of communities are urban, suburban, and rural. Urban areas are cities. They have tall buildings and many people. Suburban areas are near cities. People often live in houses and apartments. Rural areas have fewer people and more land. Farms and villages are often found there.
Okay, now we're moving to page 101, paragraph 3.
Can you name some buildings in a community? They include markets, schools, libraries, and hospitals. Many people work at those places. They provide goods and services. Goods are things that people can buy or borrow, such as food and books. Services are things that people do for each other. Teaching and medical care are services. Close read. Services. Work that people do to help others.
What are some examples that they give us of services in our story? Services. It tells us right here in paragraph 3 on page 101. What are some services that are in the community?
Buildings.
Services are work that people do to help others. So right here, services are things that people do for each other. And then the last sentence gives us 2 examples of services. Look in the very last sentence.
Helping each other.
They are helping each other. What 2 examples do we get?
Medical care.
Medical care, and what else do they tell us? What am I doing?
Sitting.
What am I doing?
Teaching.
Teaching and medical care. Those 2 things are services. You're helping people. Where would you find medical workers? Everybody. Hospital. Yeah, good job. Okay, page 102. Go ahead and flip your page. Page 102, we're going to talk about school. So you guys see the purple heading at the top of the page. It says school, okay? This week, we're going to talk about main idea and what that means. So after this, we're going to watch a little video about main idea. And the purple heading is the main idea of the page or the paragraphs. So what do you think the main idea is going to be on this page? School. So this whole section right here of our story is only going to talk about school. It's not going to talk about the library. It's not going to talk about grocery stores. It's only going to talk about school. Okay? Follow along in your book on page 102.
School. Where do many kids go to learn? School. Most kids start kindergarten around age 5. That is the first year of elementary school. Teachers plan lessons for many subjects. They teach math, reading, science, and social studies. Kids usually stay in one classroom for most of the day. They may go to other teachers for art, music, library, and gym.
So someone raise your hand and tell me what a difference is between how they say school is and what we've experienced this year at school. How is it different? What's different this year?
They don't have to wear masks.
Yeah, they don't have to wear masks. You can tell from the pictures.
And they can go to gym.
Yeah, they get to leave their room to go to art, music, library. Yeah, they get to leave their room to go to specials. This year, specials come to us in our classroom. So that's a difference. That's something that's very different this year for us and the people in the story. Good job. All right, page 103. Here we go.
Middle school often starts in grade 6 or 7. Then kids go to high school in 9th grade. High school lasts for 4 years. When students graduate, they get an award called a diploma.
So we talked about our genre this week as being informational text, and that means that the story is just giving us information. So who can tell me a piece of information on the subject of school that we just learned? Or maybe that we already knew, but they just reminded us of. What's a piece of information they gave us on either one of these pages? Hmm? Any type of information they gave us. Okay, so you start school usually when you're about 5, 6, or 7. That's when you start elementary school. Yep, that's information that they gave us. That's a fact.
Whenever you graduate high school, you get a diploma.
Yeah, whenever you graduate high school, you get a cool, fancy little piece of paper and a really cool little cover that's a diploma. That means you've completed high school and you can move on to either college or go work somewhere. So that's a fact. That's information that they gave us about school. Good job. Okay, page 104. 104. Here we go.
Middle and high school kids have many teachers. Each teaches a different subject. Students may start the day in a homeroom class. Ding! A bell often tells them when it is time to change classes.
So what's a difference between elementary school and middle school and high school? What's something that's different?
You always have the same teacher.
In elementary school, you have the same teacher basically all day other than specials, right? Good job. What else?
And the high schoolers get to go to like different classes.
Yeah, so they get to move around to different classes where we just kind of stay here. What's that sound they hear? What did we just learn? What's that sound? Everybody?
Ding!
A ding, yeah. It tells us, okay, there's the bell. We need to switch classes and go to our next class. Okay, good job. Flip to page 105. Here we go.
Schools are an important part of the community. They bring people together. Many students go to after-school activities. They join clubs and play sports. Some kids take part in plays, band, or chorus. People in the community can watch the sports games. They can also attend the plays and concerts.
Okay, so schools are an important part to the community because you guys come here to school or you do school at home and you can be involved in sports or activities and clubs and things like that, which is really important for our community. Okay? Okay, go ahead and go to the next page, 106. And then we're not going to read this entire story. It's really long. So we're going to listen to about libraries, and then we'll finish up the rest tomorrow. So this story's pretty long. So we're going to stop here after we listen about libraries and why libraries are important to the community.
They like to, after school, they like to play sports.
Yeah, after school they like to play sports. Good job. Okay, page 106. Here we go.
Library. The library is a popular place in communities. It is filled with thousands of books. A library's media center has movies, music, and sound recordings of books. People in the community can borrow the books and media for free. How can you do that? It's easy. Get a library card. It shows that you are a library member. Close read. Use text evidence. Highlight words that tell why the library is a popular place in communities.
Why do we think the library is a popular place? What does this story tell us? Remember, we're talking about in second grade, a big part of second grade is going back in the story to find our
Text evidence.
answer and text evidence. Yeah, so we have to go back into the story to highlight the text evidence that answers the question, why is the library an important place for communities? What does the library do? What does the story say?
It needs books.
Okay, what's it say in the story? It is filled thousands of books. So if you are at home and if you are in my class, go ahead and take out your highlighter tool. You only need one highlighter tool. Nope, don't close your book yet. Okay, take out that highlighter, hold it up when you're ready. My friends at home, grab your highlighter or a pencil or a tool that you can use to find this text evidence in our story. All right, we're going to take our highlighter and we are going to highlight why the library is an important place for a community, okay? Gavin, what did you tell us? It is
Thousands of.
Yeah, it is filled with thousands of books. So in paragraph 9, you need to highlight the section or the sentence that says, it is filled with thousands of books. I'm going to come around and look. It is filled with thousands of books. It is filled with thousands of books. Good job. Remember when we use our highlighter, we just swipe across the page. We don't need to color it in really heavy. We just swipe across the page.
I
It is
can't
filled
even
with
see
thousands
mine on
of
the
books.
back. Because I just swiped.
Good job. All right, so it is filled with thousands of books. That's why it's so important. Anyone can go to the library. Raise your hand if you've been to the library in Hope. Raise your hand if you've been to the library in Hope. I know one of our friends in the back, he just went and got a book from the library. Can you hold that up for us? Yeah, he just went to the Hope Library and got that book. So, they can be very helpful. A lot of times nowadays, we have a lot of technology and internet to look things up. But back in the day, even before Mrs. Meredith's day, they only had books. Like Mrs. Wagner, when she was in college, they did not have internet. So she would have to go to the library and like to do her research papers or whatever she had to do in college. She would have to use the library and look things up only in books. She did not have the internet, okay? So, way back in the day, libraries were super important for those purposes. But now, libraries are used more for fun, so you can just find books that you like to read for fun. So, always go visit the local library in Hope. It's a great place. I went there a couple years ago for a field trip, so that was really fun. So, my friends at home, if you want to follow along with this and then send me a picture of your page where you highlighted your text evidence and send it to me on Seesaw, that would be fantastic. Thank you guys. Good luck.
Bye.
Everybody say